So let us begin this morning sitting forward, away from the back of the chair, to a place on the chair where you can feel your sit bones against the chair firmly and move the top of your pelvis back and forth until you find where you feel centered over your sit bones. And most often that means that the top of the pelvis is slightly tilted forward, not a whole lot, but you feel the most, not necessarily familiar, but you feel the most stable. So find that place, play with it a little bit, going back and forth slowly so that you can feel it. And then relax your hands on your thighs. And if you're closing your eyes, go ahead and do that, or soften your gaze. And line up your nose and your chin with your belly button. Make sure your feet are firm to the ground, or if the ground's too far away, that they're on something, blocks, books to support you. And let's start our ritual of beginning our yoga practice by scanning the mind, body, spirit from the crown of the head to the soles of the feet. And notice, you're just noticing. How are you feeling? What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? Without judging, without criticizing, without wishing, simply noticing, acknowledging, becoming aware, being a witness to yourself, just as you are right here, right now. And now I invite you to ask yourself, what would I like to receive from yoga this morning? Or if you're practicing this with a video this afternoon or this evening, what would I like to receive from yoga today? Let all the answers come to you. And now I invite you to choose just one, the one that best fits for how you're feeling and what you desire today. And know that it could change somewhere in the middle of our practice, and that's okay. But right now, what feels like it best fits? Focus, relaxation, strength, flexibility, relieving anxiety. It could be anything. And place that one thing behind your heart and allow it to radiate to the soles of your feet, the crown of your head, the tips of your fingers, and everything in between, so that your whole self feels alive with your intention. And let that guide your practice and your choices today. Now I invite you to become aware of the sensations of your breath. Notice, where do I feel the breath as it comes into my body? Where do I feel the breath as it leaves my body? Pardon me. Again, we're not trying to change anything. We're cultivating awareness. Letting your breath in and out be your focus for the next moment or two. Letting the breath come to you rather than reaching out for it. So now I invite you to open your eyes if you close them, and then we'll begin with a couple of acupressure hand movements to help with circulation. So let's begin by putting the pinky sides of the hand together and just either hold like this or rub, or if it feels good to do that, just to tap gently, lightly. Choose what feels best for you today. Just for another breath in and a breath out, a breath in and a breath out. And now let's bring the heels of the hands together and do the same thing. Either hold them, rub them gently, tap them gently, whatever works for you. A breath in and a breath out. And now bring the thumb sides together and we'll do the same thing. Hold, rub, gently tap. And it may be different. It may feel better one way or the other, and that can be different from place to place on your hand. Let that be okay. One more breath in and a breath out. And now bring your hands into gentle fists and put your fists together and keep your elbows into your sides. And we'll do the same thing. Hold, rub gently, or gently tap. Whatever works for you. A few breaths. And now bring the backs of your hands together. Hold, gently rub, gently tap. You could try them all, see which one feels better for you. And do that for another breath or two. And now clasp your hands either at the fingertips or into the lacings. And just notice, or into the webbing, sorry. Interlace your fingers either at the tips or into the webbings. And notice which one is on top, left or right. You don't have to change it, you just have to notice. And this one, you can't really rub or tap, so just hold your hands clasped in wherever it works for you. And now switch so that the other side is on top. And as you've heard me say a million times over our years together, if it doesn't feel weird, you haven't changed anything. So into the weaving or at the tips, however works best for you right now. One more breath in and a breath out. And now relax your hands. So when we do anything a little bit differently than we did at the time before, we create new connections, new synapses in the brain. And so there's value in changing. There's also value in repeating. Our brain needs both of those things. So we do both. So let's start with our shoulder rolls. Inhaling forward and up, exhaling back and down. And we do this most days that we're together because it's such a nice way to let go of some of the tension that settles in the neck and the shoulders. So be gentle. Maybe ask yourself, where could I use some more ease, a little more comfort? Let the movement be soft. Let it follow your breath. Luxuriate in the movement of these shoulder circles. We'll do one more together. And now just relax your shoulders as far down as they'll go. Bring your elbows to touch your side bodies, and then but bring your palms up. So your elbows are in, your elbows are bent, your hands are forward. It's like you're holding on to a tray. Breathe in, and when you breathe out, keep your elbows moving toward each other and extend that tray as though you're offering someone some lovely, luscious desserts or whatever you'd like to offer. And now inhale and bring your elbows back into your side body. Exhale forward. Inhale back in. Exhale forward. Inhale back in. And now just relax your hands, relax your elbows, relax your forearms, soften your shoulders, and inhale your shoulders forward and up, and exhale them back and down. Let your arms move with your shoulders as you inhale forward and up, and exhale back and down. And now bring your elbows into your side bodies again, palms face up, breathe in. And when you exhale, offer that tray. And inhale, come back in, elbows into your side bodies as best you can. And exhale, offer. Inhale, back in. Exhale, offer. Inhale, back in. Relax your hands down and take a look at your feet, at your knees. And make sure your knees are over your ankles, and make sure, even more importantly, is that your feet are strong to the floor. Remember that triangle, or we sometimes refer to it as four corners, that needs to be planted on the ground. Helps align. I'm watching myself on the screen and seeing my knees are going out. So if you want, you can heel toe your feet out so your feet are wider, your knees will be wider. Maybe that'll be more comfortable for you. Make sure your feet are firm to the ground. And one last time, let's bring the elbows into the side body, palms face up, breathe in. And when you exhale, extend that tray forward, as far forward as you can, with your arms as straight as you can. And inhale, elbows back in. Exhale, extend and offer. Inhale, back in. Exhale, extend and offer. And inhale, back in. We'll do one more. Exhale, extend and offer. Inhale, elbows back in. Relax your hands on your thighs. Inhale, your left hand up over your head. I can't remember if we're mirroring or not. So do whatever hand feels right to you. Arm in the air, or hand on your head, or hand on your elbow. Choose whichever is going to work for you. And the opposite hand is on the seat of the chair. So inhale, and when you exhale, just float gently over to your side. If you want, if your hand is on your shoulder or your head, you can move that elbow up a little bit. If your arm is extended, either way, feel the length of that side of your body. Breathe in. And breathe out, come back to the center. We'll switch sides. Arm up, on head, on shoulder. Choose your poison. When you exhale, float over to the opposite side. And when you're here, make sure that that buttock is pressing into the chair so you can feel the muscles engaging. Breathe in, and on the exhale, come back to the center. Inhale. Opposite arm up, reach that buttock down, float over to the side, hand wherever it's comfortable for you. Breathe in, breathe out, come back to the center, switch sides. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, come back to the center. One more time on each side. Breathe in, reach that buttock down, float over to the side. Bring your hand wherever your arm, shoulder needs it to be. Breathe in. When you exhale, come back to the center, switch sides. Make sure your buttock is in the chair. Float over to the opposite side. Breathe in. Breathe out, come back to the center. Pause. Give yourself a moment to let your activity be integrated into your nervous system. Remember that it's not the poses, it's the impact that they have on your nervous system that give us the reasons to do yoga. Inhale your shoulders forward and up, and exhale them back and down. Inhale them forward and up, and exhale them back and down. And now bring your left hand and put it on top of your right hand, on top of your right knee. And just breathe in here to this very gentle twist. Notice what's happening in your upper body and your pelvis. Let the body do what it needs to do to enjoy this twist. And on your next exhale, we'll switch. Become aware. Come back to the center. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, turn to one side. Breathe in, reach up, come back to the center. Breathe out, turn to the opposite side. Let that hand that's behind you actually come behind you onto the chair. Breathe in, reach up, come back to the center. Breathe out, move to the opposite side. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths, so let that back hand come behind you and touch your back if you're able. Let it squeeze over to as far the opposite side as it can go. And when you next exhale, just come back to the center and pause right here. Just notice what's happening in your body. Notice where you're feeling what we just did. And now inhale, move up and you reach up. As you exhale, turn to the opposite side. Again, let that back hand come to your back and see if you can wiggle it over to the opposite side. Just see what happens and see what you feel. And now let's come back to the center and pause. Let's take the right hand behind our back, hold on to somewhere, either your hand, your wrist, or your forearm if you can reach, and gently, very gently, pull that hand and arm to the opposite side. And as you do that, see if you can keep your spine upright instead of twisting. Breathe in, and on the next exhale, just switch behind you and notice the difference from side to side. Notice the difference without judging. Now release your hands. Inhale your shoulders forward and up. Exhale them back and down. Inhale forward and up. Exhale them back and down. And now let's lift one heel, put it down. Lift the other heel, put it down. Make sure that when you lift your heel, that the ball of your foot and your toes stay on the ground, because we tend to sickle. And so we want to make sure that our focus is on keeping this part of the foot on the floor. So lift one heel and put it down. Lift the other heel, put it down. And just slowly move from one side to the other. And when you've done both sides evenly, equally, we'll move to the next part. And you can choose to stay with lifting your heels, or you can lift a foot, your knee and your foot up so that we're kind of marching in place. If you'd like, you can bring your hands underneath your thighs to help you lift. One foot, put it down, then the other foot, put it down. So you can continue this way, or you can go back to lifting the heel, or you can lift and stretch out and then bend your knee and bring that foot back down. So you lift, stretch out, bend your knee, foot back down. And the hands behind your thighs are meant to help. So again, choose the one, try them all, but then choose the one that feels right for you today. And that will depend on a lot of things, including your energy and your interest in doing one thing over the other, as well as listening to the body and letting it decide what it wants and can do today. So we'll do one more of something. You choose. And then we'll just pause. Hands on the thighs, whichever way is most comfortable for you. Check in with your pelvis. That always means sitting more forward for me and making sure that the top of my pelvis is slightly tilted forward. So check in. Align yourself in the way that's healthiest for you, which is not necessarily the most comfortable or most familiar, let's put it that way. Because so often comfortable equals familiar, and that's really not what we're looking for. So just try it, see, how are you feeling? And now let's turn to one side and sit so that the back of one leg is against the seat of the chair, the other buttock is hanging off. One arm is behind us, and that leg, the knee, is pointing down toward the ground or somewhere in between. And remember, this is meant to be a softening position, a softening shape, if you will. It's not meant to be a stretch. So you may feel too much here. So if that's the case, then just bring that knee forward a little more so that you still feel sensation here, but not a huge, huge stretch. Stretching is work, and there are plenty of other times when you work. Here, in any of the other classes, in your day-to-day life. So let this right here, right now, be a place of softening. And use your powers of visualization to see that muscle group from just below your rib cage to just above your kneecap. With every exhale, let the body begin to let go of tension and tightness. And notice where you experience the sensations of letting go. It's often different from one side of the body to the other, from one muscle group to the other. Be the great observer. Now bring your hand behind that thigh to bring that foot forward. Take your hand inside your thigh to open up that knee to 90 degrees or wider, as wide as you can go. But now turn back to face the original knee, if you will, the knee that's on the chair. And now inhale, reach your hands up. Either keep your hands here or bring them to your head or bring them to your shoulders if that works better for you. And just breathe here. 2 more breaths, in and out. And when you at next exhale, turn your body toward the knee that's facing the camera and bring your arms either to a T or to your waist or to your shoulders, if that feels all right for you. Keep looking over that original knee and keep breathing. Now on your next exhale, turn forward again to face the original knee, arms up in the air or on your head or on your shoulders. And now stretch that leg out, turn the toes to point straight forward and lean against the back of your chair. Bring your hand over your head. Fingertips reaching away from your heel, heel away from your fingertips. Breathe in. and out. Breathe in and out. Remember, you can bring your hand to your shoulder if that feels better for you. Breathe in. Breathe out. And now bring yourself back up to a seated position. Bring your hand behind your extended leg. Bring your legs back into mountain. And you're going to stay facing this direction. I'm going to turn my chair so you can see. So inhale, reach your hands up, and as you exhale, turn to face the back of the chair. But instead of bringing hands to the top of the chair, let's bring them to the seat of the chair and bring that back hand wiggled over toward the opposite side. So you can see my fingertips, but this is as far as I go. Breathe in, and on the exhale, let yourself twist a little bit more if it's accessible to you. Otherwise, just focus on what's happening in your pelvis, in your knees, in your back, in your neck. On your next exhale, come back to face your knees and pause right here. And now turn in your chair back to your seated mountain and just pause right here. Eyes closed or your gaze soft. And just check in one more time. What are you feeling? Does your intention still fit? Or would you like to adjust it? Now let's turn to the opposite side. The back of your knee against the seat of the chair. The opposite buttock off the chair. Arm on the back of the chair, and let that knee float down, point down toward the ground or somewhere along the way. And now take all of the information that you have, that you know about softening instead of stretching, and apply it to this side of your body. Use your visualization to see and feel that muscle group. Use your visualization to soften with each exhale. Use your powers of observation to notice where in your body you begin to feel letting go. And notice where it spreads to. Because just like stress and tension spread through the body, mind, spirit, so does softening. Now bring your hand behind your thigh to bring that knee forward. Take your hand inside the thigh to open up that leg as wide as you can. And now turn to face, I'm calling it the original knee this morning since I didn't use right and left. Inhale your hands up to the sky. Exhale, you can keep your hands here, bring them to your head, bring them to your shoulders. Let the top of your pelvis tilt slightly forward. Feel your breath and your focus as your knee and your chin are in line with your leg, actually. Breathe in, and on the next exhale, turn your upper body to face forward. You can stretch your arms out, palms up or down, or you can keep your hands on your shoulders, but take your gaze over that original knee. Breathe in, feel your strength, your focus, your courage. On your next exhale, turn yourself back to face that original knee, stretch that leg out, lean against the seat of the chair. Lean against the back of the chair. Reach your arm over your head or rest your hand on your head. Feel the length of that side of your body as you breathe in and out and you visualize your breath moving the full length of your body. On your next exhale, lift yourself up to a seated position. Bring your hand behind your thigh. Pause right here. And now inhale, breathe in. When you exhale, turn to the back of your chair, but let your hands come down this time and bring that back hand behind your back. I'm surprised you can't hear me cracking. Let the top of your pelvis shift slightly forward. Let your body go where it needs to go. Trust yourself. And on your next exhale, come back to the center. We'll pause right here for a breath in and a breath out. And now come back to the center of your chair. Sit forward a little bit so that your sit bones are firm to the chair, and you can feel the top, and you can feel and let the top of your pelvis come slightly forward. And now relax your hands. Line up your nose and your chin with your belly button. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. And let yourself feel the residual effects of the work that you've done so far. So now bring your awareness, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see better. Bring your awareness to the pelvic bone, specifically to the top of your pelvis. If it helps, go ahead and put your hands on the top of your pelvis. I like to put my thumb in the back, but do what works for you. And notice that I'm sitting pretty far forward on the seat of the chair. So inhale, press your fingers into the pelvic bone so that the top of your pelvis comes forward. And now when you exhale, press your thumbs so that the top of your pelvis goes back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, round back. But let's think not of rounding so much as letting the pelvis express itself, because when it's free to do that, the spine just gracefully reaches up, out, and this body does what it is meant to do. It finds its natural rhythms. This is cat-cow. But we're focusing on the movement as initiated at the pelvis. Let's do one more. Front and back, or forward and back. And now come forward. And either open your legs, your knees as wide as you can, or bring one ankle onto the opposite thigh. Again, if you need to do this in order to have that ankle up here, it's much better for you to have both feet on the ground and your knees open. So honor yourself as your body is able to do things today. So if your leg is lifted, bring your awareness to that hip, buttock, lower back area. And if your feet are on the ground, choose the side you want to start with today. And bring your awareness to that hip, buttock, lower back area. And let's do some spring cleaning. Visualize that whole area of the body and visualize your breath moving into it. It's as though you can see the curtains being blown into the room by your breath. And when you exhale, watch the breath sweeping away out of that whole area. Any tension, any tightness, any memories, any pain, anything that no longer serves you. And feel yourself letting go of it as the breath carries it away. And now bring your awareness back to the center of your belly. If you have a leg lifted, put that leg down and do the opposite side. And let's all bring our awareness to the other side. Whatever you weren't looking at before, whatever you weren't visualizing before, let's do that side now. The breath comes in, and the breath sweeps out that whole area, helping you release tension, tightness, harmful energies, destructive energies, things that have plagued you for a while, just letting it all go, particle by particle by particle. And as you do that, notice where else in your body you're experiencing a release of tension. Anywhere at all. And now I invite you, if you have a leg lifted, to lower that leg and to keep your knees wide. And I invite you to join me in your mind, in your imagination, for a walk in a wooded area, someplace where you can comfortably move or be pushed. Take a look at your surroundings in your imagination. See what colors are just popping up around you. Notice the teeniest, tiniest flowers erupting from the ground on either side of the pavement where you can walk or stroll in your wheelchair. Let the sounds of this wooded area come to you. Let your breath begin to soften, maybe deepen. Notice what your breath is doing. Notice where in your body, mind, spirit, you're beginning to soften. You're feeling less tension in your forehead or your jaw, your throat, your neck, your shoulders. And kind of just being among the trees brings enough negative ions into our body that we're able to welcome them and release and let go of tension and tightness. And of course, as you sit here, taking in the sounds, taking in the softness of the wind, or the stillness of the wind, you might also begin to notice the softness of thought, stepping away from the turnstile of life, of whatever dramas or concerns might be in your lap at any moment. Just giving yourself some time to breathe and be, some sacred time to breathe and be. And as you visualize yourself in this really lovely space, I invite you to notice whatever there is to notice, whatever brings itself to your awareness, right here, right now. And let that be, whatever it is, let it be. Okay. And as you bring your awareness back to your present room, I invite you to bring some of that feeling of softness, of awareness, of letting go, of freedom, or whatever other things you might have experienced. Bring it back into your day because it is part of you. And let yourself pause right here, right now, aware of your surroundings, aware of yourself in your surroundings, aware of your breath, bringing it softness, bringing it ease, bringing its comfort. And I invite you to draw a very deep breath all the way to the soles of your feet and to pause in the fullness of your breath. And now slowly let your breath ease out of your body, slowly, slowly emptying yourself and pausing in the stillness. And when you begin breathing in, I invite you, if you're wearing glasses, to take them off. Rub your hands rigorously together to generate some heat. And now gently cup your hands over your eyes. Receive the warmth from your hands and your eyes and their sockets, your cheekbones, your jawbone, all the way down to your heart. You place a smile behind your eyes, behind your lips, behind your heart. And receive the softness that moves into your thoughts, your words, and your actions. And let's bring our hands together in front of our heart so that we might honor ourselves and each other with the word that's used throughout the Himalayas to say hello and goodbye, and which means the light that is me honors the light that is you. Namaste, namaste, namaste.